Should be seeing it in a couple seconds. The moment we see it is the moment that I'm gonna get it in. We should be live. All right, check, check, check. Shalom, shalom, family. Shalom, shalom. Welcome to another edition of Zion Lexx's podcast, aka One Love TV, aka The Lion's Den. I have the pleasure and the honor this afternoon of interviewing a brother that I have tremendous respect for. I've been familiar with the brother's work for a little over a year and a half to 2 years. And we recently met last year at an epic event in Detroit, and we had a lot of fun. We fellowshiped together. We got to trade the fact that we both admire and respect one another's work, and that means a lot in the community. It means a lot in the community when powerful minds can come together and begin to build on our assets. Too often in our community, when you have two powerful minds, you could almost expect that, personalities may clash or egos may clash. But I have to say, in meeting this brother, I met a humble spirit. And I certainly gave my brother the same energy, a humble spirit. And that goes a long way. So it is with great respect and it is with great honor that I introduce to you today your brother, my brother, our brother, Yah'ki, Yah'ki, who is a master herbalist and a detox specialist. My brother, welcome to my show this evening. How you doing?
Hallelujah, hallelujah, shalom, shalom, everybody out there. Shalom, my beloved brother, man. I'm feeling good, man. Untitled, feeling real good and just excited to be on your platform and to be able to build mentally and intellectually with you.
That's great, brother. That's great. Well, it's been a long time coming, but good things come to those who wait. I think the community has been waiting for a moment like this where we can have a representative in the Israelite community on the forefront of medicine and on the forefront of natural herbs,
Hallelujah.
to give us insight on what is nature's medicine and to give us insight on taking natural herbs. Your work in the community thus far has been phenomenal in pushing for more awareness, more enlightenment, and more education in the area of, learning about how to heal the body naturally. Before we go into that particular subject, I want you to kind of familiarize yourself with the audience. I'm sure there are many who know who you are, but on every new platform, there's possibly somebody that never heard of you. So just kind of give us a little background information about yourself, and then we'll segue into having our dialogue.
Well, basically, my name is Yah'ki. Nickname for that is Yah'ki. I am a master herbalist. I'm into botany. I'm into most definitely pulling out all the healing properties and healing nutraceuticals out of plants and healing our people. I'm known for healing HIV. I'm known for healing AIDS, cancer, sickle cell anemia, leukemia, into biochemistry, into a whole lot of things that come to the when it comes to the science of the body. So anything to do with healing, anything to do with diet, anything to do with detoxification of the body, that's what I'm into. I'm a healer, I'm a priest, and I'm here for the community. I'm a healer for my community. It's basically all of what I am and what I do. We have clinics, we have healing centers, we have detoxification herbal stores set up. We just got a lot of things to offer the people. So he's not talking to somebody that just jumped on the scene. I've been doing this for many years, and I have a very, very high success rate when it comes to healing the body and ridding the body of any disease. And we have all the diagnostic sheets and all the proof and the testimonies to prove so.
Now, we're going to definitely get down to the bottom of that because those are some powerful statements to make. That would put you on the realms of, some of the great masters of herbology, such as a Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi caught a lot of flack in mainstream science or the medical community when he went on record to say, I have healed the so-called diseases that were thought to be unhealable. I have proof. I have people. I can go to court. The man went to court and he won. So I want to ask you this question since you brought it up first. When people are introduced to you and they find out all of your immense knowledge, how can we assess whether or not the knowledge that you have works in real time in conjunction with the statement that, you know, you have people that you've healed, do you actually have people who can go on record or who have gone on record to say that you've healed them of various ailments? And I want you to be very, very specific, not so much to mention people's names because that's a little bit too detailed, but just give us those cases and let us know what exactly have you healed, and kind of give us not so much your methodology, but tell us the time frame.
And I don't mind giving you the methodology either. That's basically how I present myself and represent myself with my herbal methodology.
Okay.
But basically, yes, we have many testimonies on healing herpes. We have many testimonies, and this is, I mean, you can go on my Facebook pages. They just literally took down a lot of my healing testimonies and took down a lot of my videos. The government have really been attacking me lately. They holding $100,000 of mine. We done had our breaks cut. We've been getting followed for a couple of years now. So they just started really censoring me and taking down my videos and stuff. But it's herpes healing testimonies on my Facebook page. It's stage 4 breast cancer healing testimonies on my Facebook page. Sickle cell anemia, a leukemia case. All you have to do is literally go down my Facebook page, and I post everything. Well, I post a lot of things there, and I even went on a healing testimony spree one day, and I just posted, you know, my whole slogan was from the mouths of others, not my own. Healed leukemia, healed breast cancer, healed herpes, healed sickle cell anemia, and it's all in order on the page. So you don't have to take my word for anything. My work speak for itself, and a bunch of people in our community speak for me, and a bunch of people outside of our Hebrew community speak and vouch for me as well. So the proof is in the pudding. All you have to do is just do a little research on Yah'ki Awaken.
That's powerful, brother. That's powerful. One thing I know for sure, as a black man in America, as an awakened Israelite in the diaspora, I know for sure that when one of our own catches the attention of the government, it's perhaps he's doing something right, you know, contrary to public opinion or popular opinion. Sometimes they try to feed us the idea that if you're on the government's radar is because you did something bad. Our people who actually have recorded history and works in the community of doing great things for the community, they get on the government's radar for doing good things, for doing great things. So to me, the fact that you're on their radar lets me know, and should let any intelligent mind out there know, that you got to be doing something right.
Hallelujah.
Because we know that these people will challenge us all the way to a T when it comes to disturbing their system, as it were. And I'm pretty sure you speaking on the fact that cancer can be healed, herpes can be healed, AIDS can be healed, and not only can be healed, but God damn it, I healed it. That's powerful, brother. And I can't allow a moment to escape without giving it that enthusiasm. So let me ask you this question. What's the timetable for healing the body? Can the body be healed in 90 days if you're doing the right things like some people believe? Give us a timetable based on the disease.
We can go for herpes. We had a healing case of herpes in exactly 16 days. We had another healing case of herpes in 32 days. We had some that took 3 months. We had some that took 9 months. It all depends on, I hate to say the word, but your immunological system. And the reason why I hate to say that word, because there's really no such thing as the body doesn't need immunity for anything. But if we're going to speak in scientific terms, it all depends on how strong your so-called immunological system is, or what I would call the lymphatic defense system. If that's pretty strong, and all of your T cells or your thymus gland cells and your B cells, which is your bone marrow cells, are working collectively as the community on how the cells in your body's supposed to work, and all of your antibodies are building right, and your phagocytes and your lymphocytes is working fast and quick, you can rid the body of things literally within 2 weeks. We done seen we had HIV person. He was from some Sinor, Georgia, some place that start with an S. Smyrna. Thank you, babe. He was from Smyrna, Georgia, and it took him about 4 months. We healed him of HIV. 4 months. We have particular cases it took 9 months though. So it all truly depends on your gene expression and your constitution of your genes, because you know your genes are handed down and passed down from your ancestors. And if they had any type of chronological weaknesses, or if they had any type of deteriorative diseases that they never had fixed, or that they never had reversed before they had you, or they grandbabies had you, then naturally you and internally you actually inherit their gene expression. So it all depends on that too. A lot of us are having all these sicknesses and chronic and deteriorating diseases, and it's not even because of us. It's because of the cells that's been passed down through our mothers, our fathers, our grandfathers, our grandmothers, and so on and so forth. So time really varies. I can't really give a particular time, but the average time, if you keep in our amino acid therapeutic diet, and if you take in our amino acid herbal therapeutic herbs the way that we prescribe it, the average time we always see between 1 and 3 months.
Okay, excellent. Now, what about the people that might question the source of your knowledge? So, you know, healing the body would definitely be an immense business for a lot of people if the knowledge was available, if the knowledge was accessible. What are some of the things that you have studied in order to give you this status of being a healer? What have you actually looked at? Paint the picture for us of your knowledge base so that we understand that we're dealing with someone who's credible versus someone who's just saying, this is what I can do.
No, I have a master's certificate in herbology. I've been into herbs for many years. I'm actually a scientist. Even if I'm not that by the accreditation of their science buildings, I'm by that of accreditation of doing my own studies and having my own research and having
You're
my
damn
own
right.
and healing people. I have my own healing house where people come of illnesses. We have herbal stores. We've been doing it all for many years. I actually healed myself as well from I had chronic kidney disease, kidney failure. I had scar tissue on my heart. I used to be a very heavy drug addict when it came to the drug cocaine. I had bad liver problems, damn near cirrhosis of the liver for drinking every day. I had diabetes mellitus. I had so many different illnesses and disease that I healed and reversed myself from the herbal therapy that I created. Then I went on and started healing my family. My mama don't have none of the diseases she was suffering from. And then from there, that's when I broke out and started healing everybody else. So, I mean, clinical trials. I can talk about all the certificates I got. Matter of fact, you can hand me one. Hand me one of my certificates. I have all the. I can brag on the certificate, but you can go to school and learn all these things, and and still not know nothing. What I realize is going through all the herbal schools and being through all these herbal courses and taking the biochemistry classes, that it's a lot of lies, and you have to find the truth within the lies. The real reason I can say that I am a healer because I have healed people. You see what I'm saying? The real reason is because I have true clinical studies and trials. We do this. We really do this. Right. And it's thousands and thousands and thousands of people that know that. We ship out hundreds and hundreds of healing packages a week. And like I said, our success rate is very high. So I can show things like this. I can show all my certificates, my detoxification specialist, my herbal certificates, my energy healing certificates. I can show this, but this is not going to justify all the hard work that Yahweh and gifts that Yahweh have bestowed upon me.
That's right, brother. That's right. I'm glad you said that because a lot of people tend to think that if you don't have credentials from, let's just say what it is, a European accredited university or institution, they think that might invalidate your skill set, of which I want to always remind people, our people and Black people world over do not need to go into any European institution in order to educate ourselves. In fact, our true education has always happened outside of those institutions.
Facts.
And this is not to be, no, absolutely. Come in.
No, and you're talking to somebody that have been through all the classes, that's been to the studies. I didn't study sales. I didn't seen cultural cells on a petri dish. I didn't seen how they move. I got books on anatomy, biology. I have books on social political science and mind body relationships. I mean, that's all I do. I read a book a day, literally, and I'm not even exaggerating. I read a book a day, and if I can't get a book a day in, I'm at least reading half that book a day. So you're coming with somebody that's in the knowledge and that applies the knowledge. I'm just not just reading and regurgitating things. I'm reading and studying. I'm going to different schools and courses, and then I'm applying the information. And what I've been realizing is most of the information that I'm getting from this westernized Babylonian construct is wrong information anyway. So me, since I'm doing the clinical trials and study, I have to do what my melanin does, which is adjust on the fly, and then I come up with the healing testimonies. Then the things that I have applied and learned that come from within the work, and it's not necessarily the things that I got from the book. And I'm not knocking the school system because they gave me a point of reference where to start from. But I mean, it's literally a chew the meat, spit the bones type situation. And you can never truly claim to be a true healer if you don't have any clinical studies or trials. And if you don't have anybody proven, or you don't have anybody proven that you healed them. And we have all of that. I mean, it's the cup floweth over. We have more than that.
That's powerful, brother. That's powerful. If you can help us, if you can help me, cause us to understand what is the common denominator in most diseases. If I could pack that question a little bit, I'll say to you, when Dr. Sebi speaks about approaching healing, he says that the common denominator in not most diseases, but in all diseases is mucus. I know every healer is different, every herbalist is different, but I still want to ask you the question. From your studies, from your research, and from your practices, is there a common denominator to most diseases, if not to all diseases?
There's not even a such thing as every different disease. I say diseases, and I put the emphasis of the S at the end of it because that's something that the Babylonian program mind can identify with. There is only one disease. And that one disease in my clinical trials and study will be acids, being inside of a acidic spectrum, a acidic environment. And this acidic environment creates parasites, bottom feeders, and then them parasites and bottom feeders and all of the cytotoxins that come from this acidic environment brings on a mucosa response. And the mucosa membrane is intact with the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system, if there was a such thing as an immune system, which I'm going on record to say that there's no such thing as that, but if it was a such thing as of a so-called immunological system, it would exist inside of the lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system defense mechanism will always respond in a mucus response. So that's why Sebi said whenever he found disease, at the center of it, he seen mucus, because mucus is a lipid. It's a lipid-based substance, and it's made of this slushy oil and lipid fat breakdown, water soluble breakdown, and that's what creates the mucosa membrane, glycoprotein. It's literally a liquid glycoprotein and a phosphate. And whenever you see that the cells or losing their integrity, either due to cellular mitosis or cellular apoptosis, and that's basically when the cells start to uncontrollably mutate uncontrollably or divide uncontrollably. What mucus does, mucus is a lipid. I call it Big Mama. It want to comes and nurture and cools down that acidic environment. So that's why anytime you see acids, you always going to see calcium, and you're going to always see mucus, because calcium is one of the highest alkalinity electrolytes that can ever be introduced in the body. And then the mucous membrane or the mucosa membrane is a lipid, but it's an alkaline lipid, and it deals with the acidic side of chemistry. So I see mucus as being a effect, not a cause, but an effect to acids. So when Dr. Sebi said that he found mucus to be the root cause of every disease, I can agree, but I see a different perspective. I see acids that brings on a mucosa response.
That's an excellent point, brother. That's an excellent point. For the family that's tuning in, I want to remind you guys, thumb up the video, family, share the video. My brother's about to drop some powerful information. I don't want this information to escape anyone out there. Make sure your mother's watching. Make sure your aunt is watching. Make sure your children are watching. Get this video out to as many people as we can, because our brother is prepared to drop a lot of knowledge and insight on us that can prepare us to advance in the future as a healthy community. So let me now ask you this, my brother. In light of the fact that disease in general does in fact have a common denominator, is there any particular herbs in general or herb in specific that a person definitely should have in their natural homeopathic medicine cabinet? What, in your opinion, are and I could be speaking as a novice when I say this, but what are the three most important herbs that everyone should possibly have?
So when you look at herbs and you look at plants and you just get into the botanical family, we're not really looking at the plants. We're looking for the nutraceuticals and the phytonutrients in the biophotons that's inside of the plants, the electrolytes, or what they will call minerals, or what I would call vital minerals inside of there to feed our body the amino acid structures that it need and the minerals that it need for the body can sustain its homeostasis. So when I look at herbs, I'm looking to get the most out of each herb, which is the most amino acids, essential amino acids that I need, and the most minerals or electrolytes, essential minerals that I need, such as calcium, iron phosphate, zinc, copper, gold, things like that, that's going to keep my nervous system up and keep my vitality up as high as much where I can produce ATP, which is what our cells run off of, which is a fructose and a glucose factor. That's how we feel lively. That's why we feel happy. That's how we feel energetic and not sleepy, tired, sad, and sluggish all the time. So if you actually look out in the plant kingdom, you will have to look for the plants that are the highly electrical, highly alkaline, and have the most minerals in it. The first one I would say by far is real Irish Cmos. Cmos that grows straight from the crust of the earth, from the ocean floor. And the reason why is because it's literally growing from the crust of the earth, from the ocean floor, and the iontrophorophysis process is happening, and literally these little glandular fingers is picking up all of the minerals from the crust of the earth. And this is within the ocean. So if divers are not going inside the ocean and getting it, and they're growing it in pools, it won't do you no justice. You need real Cmos that grows straight from the earth. They say real Cmos only have 92 minerals, but when we sent ours off to our partner laboratories in Illinois, we came to find that it was over 104 minerals in it. So even that is speculations, because again, we're doing the work and we're in the laboratories and we testing our own products, and we're coming to find things that are different than what everybody's been teaching. So the first herb that I would say is the sea botanical Cmos. The next one I would say is Sarsaparilla. And the reason why I say Sarsaparilla, especially the Jamaican kind or the Honduras kind that Dr. Sebi prescribed, is because it's very, very high in the concentrating of iron phosphate. And iron phosphate is what the so-called Negro needs, because that is his mineral that's enormously produced in Africa. Africa is where we come from. I teach something called geographic genetics, meaning that you must eat the food and you must be in the climate or the environment that you were originally put in for
That's
yourself
right.
to thrive the best. So meaning we need all of the foods and all the herbs that come from our climate, Africa, or we need to literally create that environment and replicate that environment and try to live it here while we in the Western Hemisphere. So my second herb will be Sarsaparilla, because it's very high in iron fluorine, and not only iron fluorine, but in iron phosphate. Iron is the only electrical magnetic mineral that's inside the human vehicle, the only electrical magnetic mineral, meaning that it is the conduit in the body. Not only that, it moves throughout the blood and it attaches itself to hemoglobin, and then what attaches itself to iron phosphate and the hemoglobin is your oxygen molecule, and that's how you get cellular respiration. You cannot have cellular respiration without any iron phosphate inside the human anatomy. So that's the next one I pick, because iron is one of the most crucial roles and play the most important role inside of the human vehicle. My third one will be a blood cleanser, because you have to keep your blood cleansed at all time. Your blood have to maintain a potential hydrogen or a power hydrogen. It has to. If it goes 2 under or 2 below, you either die of alkalosis or acidosis. And the best thing to maintain the balance of your blood and to keep your blood clean, because the life is in the blood, I will pick burdock root, greater burdock root, or chaparral. And these are the things you really need to power up and sustain the body and let it thrive. So Cmos, Sarsaparilla, Cmos, sarsaparilla, and most definitely burdock root and chaparral.
That's a powerful point, brother. And just so you know, my family comes from the Caribbean. I have family members that come from Guyana in South America, which is part of the Caribbean. I also have family members in Jamaica. And coming up as a child, what you just named, brother, is what we took as children. As a child, I was drinking Irish moss, which is made with Cmos, the Jamaican one in particular. As a child, we would take burdock root. My dad would make bitters with something called Cersei bitters, which is a blood cleanser. In the islands, we kind of call it bush tea, but it's there to cleanse the blood. Just as you say, my father would always say, no disease can thrive in clean blood. So you have to make sure that your blood is clean. So you said something that I think might have escaped the listening audience because we don't talk about this too often in the community. Most our healers and herbalists speak to the fact that we have to have an alkaline diet. So some people interpret that as I'm going to eliminate all acids and have a diet that's exclusively alkalinic. But you just said that if a person has too much alkaline, they could also die. So what you're talking about is balance.
Yeah, homeostasis.
Homeostasis, which is powerful because intellectually that has so many philosophical connotations. The idea of maintaining balance. So, brother, I think the insight and the information that you drop in is one thing, but I think the psychology behind how you bring it out is another thing, brother. You are a truly bright personality, a truly enlightened brother. And later on in the show, we're going to take some questions from people in the listening audience. But for now, while I have you, I definitely want to make sure that I spoil myself in the moment too. So let me ask you another question, brother. So we're now talking about the fact that we can heal our bodies. We are in 2020 on the precipice of 2021. The elephant on the table right now is obvious. We're talking about COVID-19. And we're now on the precipice of vaccine distribution, vaccine intake, and some people speculate going into 2021 that the government may actually enforce vaccines and actually begin to force people. I want you to kind of explain to us the origins of vaccines in general, and then give us your insight on whether or not vaccine is a viable route to curing a virus, or what most of us already believe, the hell with the vaccine, you better take care of your body. Give us some enlightenment, my brother.
Well, first off, we have to really dig deep into the history of the U.S. military and the U.S. government to see what they've been up to. In 1974, the Fort Detrick military base, based out of Beersheba, Maryland, literally created the NCI, which is the National Cancer Institute. During these these investigations that a lot of people, this is public knowledge, have been searching into and have been looking into, they found out that there was a bioweapon chemical laboratory inside of Fort Detrick military base. In 1980 is when they first got done creating all of these biochemical weapons. And this is where you get your HIV. This is where you get your herpes. This is where you get your cancerous diseases. And that whole thing is to distribute them by way of vaccinations to depopulate the people. And this is not nothing I'm coming up with. This is not conspiracy theory. We have proven this time and time again with their own mouths and with their own documentation that that's what's been going on. A vaccine doesn't cure anything. If you look at what's inside of a vaccine, they're actually introducing you to fetal tissues, cancerous tumor tissues from lungs. They're introducing pork, pig to you, especially the bone marrows of pigs and of swine. And if we're Hebrew Israelites, we know that we can't take that anyway. So that's just cut the vaccine off. Anybody that's in my community, you can't take it anyway, because in every vaccine, it most definitely have swine inside of it. Not only do it have swine inside of it, now they're using special molecules called modified messengers RNA And these are ribonucleic acids. And what these things does is they put specific type of codes inside of these things, along with nanobots, or what you call nanoproton molecules. And these nanotechnology is hooked up to the web. The deeper and deeper we get into the investigation of the COVID-19, we find out that there is no COVID-19 at all. What's been happening to our people, and this is my research, so you can disagree if you want to, but if you do the research, you'll come to find the same thing that me and my team have came to find. We see that there's no such thing as a COVID-19. There is a such thing as the coronavirus or the SARS virus that have fragmented AIDS inside of it, or HIV strands sub A and sub B inside of it. This was created in Fort Detrick military base. It was not created in Wuhan in the BCL4 biosafety laboratories in Wuhan, China. This was actually created in Fort Detrick military base in Maryland, and it was transported to China. This conversation happened between John D. Rockefeller and Henry Kissinger and the president of China at that time, over 25 years ago. And now it's finally manifested till this very day. What we've been seeing is radiation poison due to 5G towers. And the reason why they're throwing up all these 5G towers and pushing a vaccine is because the vaccination have nanobot technology in it to upload your consciousness or your awareness to their servers. That way the modified RNA messengers and these codes that they put in you can literally rebuild or restructure your DNA. This is nothing but population control and DNA manipulation, and it's experimented right now by the government. And we are their test dummies. We're their guinea pigs. If you choose to be their guinea pigs. So I say not only no, but hell no to vaccinations. If you look at the track record of vaccinations, like the Tuskegee experiment, and how they gave them syphilis and didn't treat the syphilis and let them go years just to see how long that this man-made virus that they put in them, what it would do to their bodies, and it deteriorated their bodies, and they died of skull disease, they died of nervous system breakdown, they died of acute and subacute kidney renal failure. So we see what their plans and what they're up to. If you look at what they did to India when Bill Gates sent two of big pharma technology companies out there to give them a vaccination for lung disease, and all of them girls, 13 years old, died of lung respiratory failure. If you see what happened in 1980 in Midtown Manhattan, when they first introduced the hepatitis B vaccination, this is where your first distribution of AIDS and HIV was distributed at. Not only that, but simultaneously, they did the same things in California, the same things in St. Louis, Missouri, the same things in Maryland. So, and not to mention that it causes half of the children, especially Black children, to become 70% brain dead within 24 hours of the shot. And if they don't go 70% brain dead, they get autism, and some nonverbal autism, some violent autism. There's just so many things because these are neurotoxins that they're introducing to the Black community. And I'm not going to sit here and be a fool and act like this is just aimed at the Black community. Is it aimed necessarily at the Black community more? Of course, yes, it is, because we're the chosen seeds of God. But this is a total population control to take over the whole entire world. And the old and the babies or the weak, they will not survive. And those who are strong, they have a strong gene pool, them are going to become slaves. And that's what they're trying to do. And this 1% want to literally control the whole entire world and get rid of everybody that's in it but the strong. And then the strong that's left, they want to make them slaves. That's what's going on. So I don't agree with vaccinations at all. And the reason why I don't, because if you look at it common sense wise, there's never been any healing cases from a vaccine. And all we have seen is deaths from it. There's so many documentaries on it. There's so many documentation on it. And they're telling on themselves about Fort Detrick military base and all the whistleblowers and all the doctors like Dr. Clark. Like Dr. X. There's so many people that's coming forth now and that's speaking against what's been going on. So I would never, ever advise anybody to get a vaccination that's full of nitrogenous protein mixed with animals' pig blood and baby fetuses with the actual virus, man-cultured virus that's in it.
That's a great point, brother. You know, the irony in all of this is that what you're speaking towards in part as well is the same people who introduced the disease and the virus, and in this case, we're talking about the virus, are now going to be the same people responsible providing the cure or the vaccine. That don't sound off.
2-3. It's the great 2-3. I heard in St. Louis we say the 2-3. It's the double trip. And basically they create the problem and then they create the solution. It's all about money and population control. Create the virus, give you the virus once you get sick from the so-called virus. Because we can call it a virus because as we see, if you look into the human anatomy, like as HIV, sickle cell anemia, we see that this is the body producing antibodies and antigens trying to heal itself. And then these symptoms you go to the doctor with, they name these symptom diseases. I don't really believe in diseases. Only reason why I say the word virus and disease because I need y'all to identify with me. But if y'all was on the same frequency and wavelength and y'all just sat with me for a few months, y'all would see why I don't believe in viruses and diseases in the first place. Now, I do believe your body can be at dis-ease, but the illusion of disease that they put on us and the virus they put on us is all a matrix construct. It's make-believe. They make you believe things and then your body start expressing itself because the mind and the body is connected. So if you said notice people with cancer, they never really start dying or start going downhill until they get diagnosed with it.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So yep. This shows you the mental and physical connection of the body and how powerful we really are. So what they have done was they create the scares, they create the propaganda, they create the medias. Bill Gates own all these things and are funding them millions and millions of dollars a year. So you create the problem and then you publicize and you put the problem everywhere out there and you create this adrenochrome fear that's coming from our adrenal glands. And just off of that mentally alone is going to start bringing down the endocrine system. So now you start feeling symptoms. Oh man, I got the same symptoms that the news article just said I had. So then you're going to go to the doctor and get tested when these things, the test is already positive, y'all. We have much evidence on this. Then they give you a test and then you test positive. Now it forces you, even though that you don't really have nothing clinically, it forces you to go get their vaccine. Then that's when the deaths start happening because they're changing and modifying and controlling your DNA and your RNA.
That's a fact, brother. That is a fact, man. Let me drop this one and say this, man. So we're now talking about the virus. We're talking about COVID. We're talking about the government. Let me ask you a question. With regard to this particular vaccine, what we now know is that this vaccine is behaving differently than any aforementioned vaccine purportedly that the government has distributed or manufactured. Particularly the mRNA vaccine is an encoded vaccine. Yes. It actually goes and communicates within the cell walls and gives instructions. Here's my thing. None of us got the memo on exactly what those instructions are.
Exactly.
That's number one. Number two, many of us who are really in tune with our great minds and thinkers who've been around for the last 10, 20 years, many of them have said that the government is on the precipice of developing technology that can actually be curtailed to target a particular ethnicity or racial group.
It's already created. It's already made. I got all the documentation on it, bro.
So speak on that if you can, the relativity to the mRNA vaccine and the idea of how this technology can be used to target racial groups. Let's just say it, namely Black people.
It is basically called genome recognition. And if y'all can Google this stuff, y'all, I'm not making anything up. And when you really start getting into genome recognition, everybody chemically is made and structured differently biologically. Black people are biologically created different than Caucasians, than Mongolians, than Asians. All of us have different type of minerals, different type of head electrolytes, and our DNA strands is different, especially when you get into polysaccharides, sugar phosphate backbones. It's even look totally different. So we are genetically made differently. Inside of this modified mRNA, it is coded to match your genetically different genes. So you have something called a genome print. If you look inside of a cell and you go inside the nucleus of the cell and you break up that protein envelope capsule, inside of these DNA strands is genes and chromosomes. These are the blueprints that make up the structure of your body. This is what produces your DNA. Your DNA then gets a fragment or a depicted picture of your DNA, which is called RNA, ribose nucleic acid, which is nothing but a derivative of deoxyribonucleic acid. This then goes down to something called the ribosome of the cell, and then new cells are birthed and created from the ribosome by way of the Golgi apparatus of the cell. So what they have figured out how to do is they put nanobot technology inside of the RNA. That way, when they inject you, it goes straight and it passes the mucous membrane of what we call the Golgi apparatus of the cell, and it goes inside of the nucleus. Then what happens is this RNA, or modified RNA, synthetic DNA, that's all it is, binds with your DNA, and they're able to hijack your DNA. The same thing how HIV work, how AIDS work, how any of these other SARS, any of these other diseases work. But this time, this RNA is somebody's on the end of the computer feeding it codes. It's never happened before. So now they can be behind their desk of a quantum computer RAM. And a quantum computer, we can talk about that later, what a quantum computer is. But they're able to use quantum computers hooked up by 5G towers and put these nanobots inside of this RNA that goes inside of your DNA. And they literally can control your mind and your thinking and the expression of your genes from behind a damn computer.
I'm glad you said that, because the media speaks on it, but they do so in a way that's so brilliantly shadowy. When they speak about the mRNA vaccine, they say its data is uploaded to the host via our cloud. The cloud?
Yeah, the cloud. And it's called Neuralink cloud. And so why are you calling it Neuralink? Because they're trying to literally hook up our consciousness or our awareness to a cloud. It's nothing but transhumanism. And this is the deep part about it. Since they already know our genetic makeup, that's the reason why when you go to the doctor, you have to let them know that you're black or not. That's why you have to, if you look at your renal panels, a renal panel is called a renal metabolic panel. And when they check your kidneys, you have an African GFRI. Why do I have to have an African GFRI or African Bunds number that's different from a Caucasian, showing you that your genes express themselves differently from every other group of people or classified race of people on planet Earth? So what they realize is they have the written code or the blueprint to our genome. So inside of this RNA, they can target and bind to specific race and classifications of people. The RNA already do it. So as soon as they put it in you, the RNA itself have enough intelligence or nanoparticles in it to upload you to the cloud to tell exactly the specific race you is. And so that's why they saying that it all comes by something called luciferase. And this luciferase is basically a firefly enzyme that is transported with it. And these things recognize and identify different cellular structures in your body to tell you whether you're white, black, purple, blue, or brown.
This is powerful information, brother. The family is already in tune. What we're hearing for the family is protect and cover our brother, because we know that this system is not playing. They invest billions into what we see playing out right now. So to have our brother as bold and as courageous standing as he is, family, we really have to support those that we value in the community. So when this brother makes a call, when this brother makes an appearance, we should all make sure that we have a schedule that's open. You know, we don't have to stop our daily lives in order to get this information, but you should value the information to the extent that you could give some of your precious time to it, because a little bit of time of endorsing and listening to a brother this enlightened could possibly save your life or save someone else's life. And again, brother, I just thank you for all of this information. It's very, very powerful. You know, everyone in the community has their particular niche, something that they're great at. You know, when we take all of these different niches and we put them together collectively, that's how the community can stand up. You know what I mean? So as far as I'm concerned, brother, I don't see anybody else in the Israelite community doing what you're doing on the level that you're doing, brother. That automatically lets me know you are anointed, brother, and I will defend you in that. You are clearly anointed, brother.
Yeah,
and you have my full endorsement.
Divine purpose. You know what's crazy, Zion? I didn't even want this job. I didn't want this job. I thought I was going to be a musician. I'm very good at music. I can sing, I can rap. That's what I thought this was going to be, man. And After I had all of my diseases and I healed them through Yahweh and the knowledge that he bestowed on me, man, he just pushed me into this. And so I have a saying or a slogan that me and my family have, because my whole family work with me. This is a family business, and we just have a slogan: you are not a true healer. You are not a true healer unless you are forced into being a healer. You know, and that's our slogan, because I was forced into this. This is nothing that I wanted or nothing like that. And I think that's why I am so good at it.
I'm going to step aside for a moment, but in the meantime, I want to ask you to just educate the family about the dangers of looking at the vaccine as a solution. And also, if you can, provide for the family what are their possible options in lieu of turning down a vaccine. How can they approach that, legally, or how can they approach that in general? I'll be right back.
We can speak on a turning down a vaccine first. If you actually get into all of the research, these vaccines are becoming mandated. Right now, it's experimental because they're trying to see basically the outcome of them. Right now, it's basically experimental, but what's happening is they're going to eventually mandate it, especially the Moderna vaccination. The Moderna vaccination will be mandated, y'all. Mark my words. All the paperwork is already there, and that's the one that have all the luciferase and have all the mRNA modifications inside of it. So if it's mandated, that means it's either you get put in a concentration camp, which is what all these Walmarts are shutting down for, and why they renovating all these Walmarts. It's the reason why you start seeing Homeland Security inside of the U.S. It's also the reason why you're seeing coffins in Georgia, thousands and thousands. They're literally renting out people land in rural areas to put millions of coffins at. So we see that a great big calamity is coming. So this thing is most definitely going to be forcing one world government, one world order, and one world currency. And you're not going to be able to buy, sell, or trade without this vaccination. It's all in their plans. It's all in their Agenda 21 plot. Is already written. It's been written for over 45 years, and now they're just now mandating it, and it's just now starting to manifest in our time, real time. So the only way you can truly deny the vaccine is by getting up out of Babylon. And what I mean by getting up out of Babylon is getting up off of their radar, getting off of their school educational systems, getting away from their economical exchanges, getting away from their medicinal medicines. That's the only way that we're really going to be able to turn it down is by not being dependent on them. Because the more that you depend on a falling, collapsed systems that's full of tyranny, what's going to happen? A rampage is going to be on you, and you're going to be accessible to them because you need food to eat. So now I'm going to get the vaccine because I got to eat. I have to feed my children. You need your rent paid, or you're going to get kicked out of your homestead. So now I need the vaccine so I can have a roof over me and my children's head. So the best thing you can do is do exactly what it talks about in the book of Jeremiah 29, where it says, within our captivity, he instructed us to make our own communities and build houses and to plant vineyards and create our own food. You see what I'm saying? And marry your sons and daughters. So we have to unplug from this matrix. We have to unplug from this system. And that's the only way we can really turn down a vaccination. Other than that, you're going to be so dependent on them because you don't know how to can food. You don't know agriculture and how to grow your own food on your own land. You don't know nothing about even running a community that you're going to be you're still on a tit of Babylon. And you sucking from that breast for so long that the moment that they deprive you of anything, that you're going to go and get this vaccination. This vaccination will be mandated very soon. The only way you can turn it down is by literally separating yourselves from Babylon. And the scripture tell us to come from up out of her. And we really have to do that. And that don't mean you got to flee back to Africa. That just really mean if you can buy some rural land deep within the country somewhere, live off the grid and grow your own food, your own crops, educate your own children, start bartering systems and buying and trading. That way you're not using their dollar or their currency to keep you connected to their system. That's how you officially, as a community and intellectually, turn down they mandated vaccinations.
That's powerful, brother. I mean, I want to assume a lot of people right now are literally at the edge of their seat because, Your voice is coming through in real time, and it's really enlightening us. So, what can we do right now? As far as herbs to prepare our bodies for any contact with what they have created.
So we see that they didn't really create anything when it comes to the COVID-19. Now, according to clinical studies and caseworks in their own documentation, we see that HIV was created. We see that SARS was created. We see that the coronavirus was created. But this COVID-19 is a hoax. What we're dealing with here is radioactive poisoning. Radioactive poisoning due to all the 5G towers that have been put up because they're trying to connect our neural links to the line. They're trying to upload us online. And that's the reason why they're trying to make us transhumanism and make us AI, artificial intelligent robots. That's what they're trying to do, make us cyborgs. So what we're seeing is respiratory failure and adrenal fatigue and adrenal and kidney acute adrenal and kidney failure due to all the radiation poisoning and the radioactivity that's going on with inside of the body. So my best thing to say is keep the blood clean, keep the lymphatic system clean, especially the interstitial fluids of the cell, keep your kidneys filtering. But main thing we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to kill precious metals, because these precious metals are what the nanobots are made of. So we need to be on constant blood cleansers and metal detoxification, detoxing this metal up out of us, and anti-radioactive compounds such as bladderwrack, kelp, dose, Cmos, club moss. These things are anti-radioactive, and what radiation do is attack the thyroid gland, and it takes a direct attack on the endocrine system. The endocrine system is how we express our personality by way of chemicals. You love through a chemical called oxytocin. Your fight and flight is through a chemical, basically adenosine. Neuroepinephrine and epinephrine is what makes you intellectual, is what turns you on. All of this is created by serotonin and melatonin that's produced by the gut and by the pineal gland. So we see that it's an attack on our glandular highway. So you need herbs that's going to keep your glandular highway up and functional and thriving. You need herbs that's going to most definitely keep you away from the radioactive activity. And then you need blood cleansers, and you have to keep the lymphatic system clean. Just some herbs off of back will be bladderwrack. The herbs I mentioned before, such as Sarsaparilla, to keep your iron content up. Most definitely black seed. Black seed oil is very good. Yellow dock, burdock root, guaco leaf, and guaco root. Elderberry. Elderberry is a very, very good herb. And then I'm a herbalist, and we sell compounds that done healed HIV, that done healed sickle cell anemia and cancer. So we sell our own compounds as well. I sell a compound, which is our #1 seller, that is full of all of these things I just mentioned in one, and you can drink them as teas, and it's called my 3 bitters. And I'm gonna show y'all my 3 bitters, and this 3 bitters have all of these things up inside of them, everything I just mentioned, and that can literally combat and fight against everything I just said. So I gave you the herbs. You can either mention these things, you can either get these herbs on your own, or you can get them already ready for you and package and just drink them as teas. Every herb that you need. And you see that one is for the cleansing the lymphatic system, like I was talking about. The other one is for cleansing the blood and all its major organs. And then last but not least, one is for cleansing the nervous system and the colon. Not only does it cleanse, but it astringes, cleanse, and it rebuilds, and it put all the phytonutrients and the nutraceuticals back into the cellular structure that it needs. So you either can get them from your herbalist, or you can buy them from me. And I don't only sell herbal compounds, but I do provide single herbs and whole herbs as well.
Thank you very much for that. Now, is this available through your website?
Yes, this is available through my website, which is www.yahkawakened.com, Yah'kiAwakened.com. Not only that, we have plenty of informational videos. I mean, everything is on there. So it's a lot of information. There's a lot of free information on that website too.
This is a very, very powerful dialogue, my brother. More than what I even expected, to be honest. Let me ask the family, please, family, the call-in number is up there. The call-in number is up there. The call-in number is right on the screen. Call in, give us, our brother, some live questions. There's a lot of questions in the chat room, but I want to give people the opportunity to actually call in live. So family, I'm going to do just that. Call in the call-in number 718-709-9859. 718-709-9859. All right, check. You can hear me, right, brother?
Yep, I can hear you, brother.
All right, excellent. So, family, come on, call in. Give our brother some of those questions. I see a lot of questions in the chat room. One of the questions is, what is the benefits of licorice root?
Licorice root. Licorice root is not only a cleanser, but it is a mucosa stimulator. You have to be careful with licorice root if you have high blood pressure, because it will raise your high blood pressure. But licorice root is a mucosa stimulator, so it will cleanse your mucous membrane. So the main benefit and function of licorice root is to flush mucus out of the body. But do not use licorice root if you actually have high blood pressure. You can use its sister, which is wild yam root. Wild yam root would do the same thing as licorice root without raising your blood pressure if you're already in hypertension stage. That's what licorice root is good for.
Okay, here we go. We have a live question right now. Caller, let us know where you're calling in, where you're calling from, and what's your name and what's your question.
Hi, I'm calling in from Indiana, and my name is Tasha.
How you doing?
How you doing, Tasha?
How you doing, Tasha? What's your question?
I'm doing good. My question is, we're seeing a rise in depression, anxiety, and suicide amongst our youth and our young adults. What do you suggest for these young adults and kids?
So first thing we have to look at is brain and gut connection. Where is suicidal thoughts coming from, and where is all of these emotional thoughts coming from? If you break down the word emotion, the first word is the E, which stands for energy and motion. Well, these are chemical compounds that I was just speaking about. So whenever you see suicidal thoughts and endocrine problem, it's an attack on the endocrine system. So this is from the pituitary all the way down to the intestines or the ovaries. So we have to really aid these, especially the adrenals. The adrenals is what put us into fight or flight. The thyroid gland, the lack of vitamin D and the lack of calcium. If you look, many studies will show and prove that this is where your depression and your suicidal thoughts come from. So I most definitely can tell you right off back that most of these increasing because these 5G towers have went up. And remember, radioactivity attacks the thyroid and the liver first. It immediately attacks the endocrine system in the liver. A bad liver creates an angry body. A shut down thyroid creates a depressed person. You see that? A very large production of adrenaline makes you scared, fight or flight, which is it scars and mess up your kidneys. So you need to protect yourself basically by getting anti-radioactive molecules or nutraceuticals in you, and these are in your berry family. So goji berries, juniper berries, gotu berries. These are the berries that you need. Hawthorn berries, sal palato berries. These are herbal berries that are very good for you, that will keep your endocrine system up. It will astringent and keep it strengthened. But don't forget your Cmos and your bladderwrack for your anti-radioactive molecules. And that's the reason why we're feeling the way we're feeling. We're being poisoned on a mass level. And remember, the body didn't create the mind created the body. So whatever you do to the mind is going to express itself through itself physiology. So through the physiology of the body. So that's what's going on. So these suicidal thoughts are now manifesting physically because what's being attacked is the thyroid gland. Now, if you look inside the thyroid gland and they studied the cases of most suicidal people, or people that are down and depressed, these are people that's not getting the cholesterol changed into vitamin D3. So that's vitamin D deficiency. These are people that are not producing enough calcium due to the parathyroid or the THS hormone that's produced by the thyroid gland. Again, you need that by calcium foods that's high in calcium and the sun. So y'all need to get more sunlight, at least 2 hours of sunlight a day. Most definitely, if it's warm out, you need to ground, take off your shoes, and connect your body to the electromagnetic spectrum or the earth grid, and take the herbs that I mentioned. And you will see that all of these thoughts will go away. And last but not least, which is most importantly, make sure you change your diet. Your diet is full of genocodes and full of light code informations. You are what you eat. If you eating food that have bad behavior, then you take on that very same exact behavior when you eat it. If you eat a chicken, look at how a chicken act. Look at the nature of a chicken. You notice you start replicating and acting like the chicken. You eat a pig, which is a bottom feeder, and just eat anything and have its way with anything, with the glutton mentality. You eat that RNA breaks down into your DNA, and then you start expressing the results of a chicken or a pig. So we really have to eat living food and stay away from GMOs, stay away from herbicide, pesticides, insecticides, and really start eating organically grown agricultural food. Not only that, take the organically alkaline grown agricultural herbs, and that's what will truly heal the mind.
All right, brother. The phone is literally ringing off the hook. We got a lot of people calling, so I don't want to cut your wisdom, but I'm going to ask you if you could just limit some of your response time, because so many people want to hear from you, brother. So I'm going to allow this person to speak. Caller, let us know your name, what city you're calling from, and what's your question.
Shalom. Shalom. My name is Eric. I'm calling from Orlando. And just want to say a lot of what you're saying, I've been following a lot of Dr. C's methodology for about 10 or 12 years. As a matter of fact, I just whipped up a rhubarb, cacao.
If you can, my brother, speak up a little bit, because you coming in a little low.
Can you hear me better now?
A little better.
A little better?
Yes.
I said I just whipped up a batch of Prodigiosa, Cascara sagrada, rhubarb root, burdock root, yellow dot, and I do this cleanse every 3 months. And it's been very, very beneficial. And like I said, I've been following Dr. C's methodology for about 10 to 12 years. And so I was just wondering how often or how long can you do the cleanse? I usually do it for 7 day stretch. Then I get off the herbs and I go to a Cmos soursop fruit smoothie cleanse for about 7 days, and then I'll start eating a lot of alkaline foods that way. And then, like I said, I'll do this like every 3 months. Is that a good regimen to follow?
Yeah, that's a good regimen to follow. And remember, your alkaline foods, these are herbs as well. When Dr. Sebi methodology, notice you took herbs, but you ate more of the food than the herbs, because the actual food you was eating is herbs. We have to realize that vegetables are nothing but herbs, y'all. So just stay on the alkaline food. That'll work. Your regimen that you got going on is very good. Make sure you're not taking too much of that turkey rhubarb, because that can become cytotoxic to your liver, just like any other medicinal medicine will take a hit on the liver and the kidneys. But I think you're in a good regimen. Just make sure you're not taking all of them roots. The roots are your toxic herbs. Sometimes we need them to do things like bust down tumors and bring out viral loads and things like that. But stick to the berries, stick to the leaves in your regimen. Make sure you on them roots just every now and then, not too much, and stay on your alkaline diet. If you want to go higher and reach a higher consciousness, fruits, berries, and melons. Fruits, berries, melons, and nuts. That's where the real true alkalinity in living foods is at, brother. So most definitely increase your fruits.
All right. All right, brother. Thank you very much.
I got a last thing to say to Zion. When are you going to be starting your next Hebrew class after the new year?
No, we have a Hebrew class that just started, brother. So just email me at zionlex@gmail.com and we hook you up.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you, brother.
Shalom. All right, brother. Shalom. Yeah, brother. The phone we got, brother. While you talking, brother, you got this room lit up so much, brother, that my phone says I'm getting 72 phone calls.
All praises. Hallelujah. A lot of people need healing.
All right. Shalom, caller. How you doing? Let us know your name, your city, and what's your question.
My name is William Garrett, and I'm in Michigan. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And my question is, so about 7 years ago, I had a surgery. I had a disease called pheochromocytoma, where I had adrenal gland removed. And I just want to know, what would he suggest on, like, you know, keeping my body up to par now and stuff like that? And also, does he believe in organ regeneration?
So I want to answer the last question first. We have regenerated thyroid glands. We had a lady that had her whole entire thyroid removed, but they left a piece of it because she had thyroid cancer. We regenerated her thyroid within 2 years. Her thyroid is fully grown back. Her goiter is gone and everything. So I most definitely believe in the regeneration of the cellular structure. Without a doubt, the body was made to heal itself and to regenerate itself. And this is where, you know, you get into our teaching from. This is where the word resurrection comes into place at. Something that's dead and gone can most definitely revive itself, because just because the physical matter is not there, that doesn't mean that the quantum matter left anywhere. You see, real quick, you see military studies where people will get their leg completely cut off, but still feel their leg there due to their melanin highways and meridians. So most definitely, if the blueprint is there, we can grow back the physical without a shadow of a doubt with the right diet and the right herbs. As far as your adrenals is some of the most important glands on your body. They're walnut-shaped sides, and they shape like a pyramid, and they sit on top of the kidneys. These are what filter the kidneys, and these produce most of your steroids, your cortisol, your sugar, your metabolism, and everything. So if you're only working with one of them, that means the best way to keep yourself as healthy as possible, you need to be on nothing but raw fruits and vegetables. I wouldn't even eat cooked food if you're only working with one adrenal gland, because you got to filter all of that cytotoxicity and all of the toxemia that's coming in from your food and process them out the right way. So since you're only working with one adrenal, and that's literally the filtering pump for your kidneys, man, you need to be eating nothing but alkaline raw fruits and vegetables, and don't be drinking sodas, juices, alcohol, or none of that, brother. And don't be smoking either, because your adrenal glands is in control of your autonomic nervous system, parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, which is your respiratory response, brother.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, caller, for your question. We're going to take someone else. All right, brother, how you doing? Let us know where you're calling from, what's your name, and what's your question. Can you turn down any background noise so we can hear you clearly, and just turn up your microphone or whatever device you're talking through, please, so you can come through a little bit more louder.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Much better.
Okay, I'm from Indiana. My name is LaDonna. I've done Yah'ki twice in the past. Once in July, and last December and this July. And my question is, what can I do to increase my the protein in my body? I had been to the doctor because I've been having severe back pain, and the doctor told me that she did testing my vitamin D. It was 15. And my B12 was, I think she said 278, which it was on the low side, but it wasn't, under the minimum. Severe back pain, and my body just aches. And I wanted to know, what can I do to, take that away, and what can I eat, or what herbs can I take to increase my protein level? Because I don't know, my body aches so bad that I can't probably, like, getting in and out of the car or getting up in the morning. It's like I just have to adjust before I can move around. And I've been eating an alkaline diet for about a year and a half now.
Okay, so what's going on with you, sister? The reason why your back and your body is aching and hurting like that, you're going through a multiple sclerosis rheumatoid symptom, meaning that you have a lot of built up acids inside of your circulation. That's all that's going on, because you have changed your diet and you have been taking my herbs. That means a lot of the cytotoxicity that was deep within your cell tissue is now moving out and have entered into circulation. You need to most definitely increase your hydration, not only H2O, but H3O2, which is fruits. Literally get you some fresh fruits and go on a juice fast. Juice. As far as the protein, I don't believe in protein. That's a myth. I don't believe in protein at all. I believe in simple amino acid structures. And obviously you have those, because if you didn't have those, we wouldn't be here talking to you right now. Now, it do sounds like you are B12 deficient, and B12 does not come from protein. B12 or your vitamin B actually come from a cobalt derivative. So that means you need things with the mineral cobalt inside of it. Cobalt's sister is selenium. So you need things high in selenium. So I'm going to just give you one thing that's going to be very good for you: Brazilian nuts. Brazilian nuts will be amazing for you. It have your cobalt, it have your derivative vitamin B12 in it, and you have to keep hydrated to get all this systemic acidosis out of your body, because you change your diet and you've been on my herbs. So that means we've been pulling and astringent all of them cytotoxicities out of your cells into the circulation. When it get into the circulation, it's going through all of something called interstitial fluid around the muscles, and you just feeling that ache and pain because it burns like hell, because you're dealing with acids. Acid is on the painful side of chemistry. If you're dealing with pain, you're dealing with acidic nature. So you just got to process all them acids and get it out of the kidneys. Focus on kidney filtration, sister, and make sure you get you some Brazilian nuts and increase your hydration and go on that juice fast, and you'll be thanking me later.
Okay. I eat a lot of Brazil nuts, and so increase my hydration. Do I need to get any of your herbs? Because my eyes too, Yah'ki. My eyes have, it's like my eyes are, I don't know.
We can get together and send you some Albright too. What's your name, sister?
LaDonna.
LaDonna, what's your last name?
Johnson.
Is you in the system under LaDonna Johnson?
I didn't hear what you said.
Are you in their system? Are you in their system?
Yes, I'm in the system.
I have somebody reach out to you today.
Okay.
All right. Shalom, sister.
All right, shalom, sister. Thank you for your call. My brother, let me just tell you right now, brother, I wish I could show you. Let me see if I could show you. You're not going to be able to share my screen, but I'm going to share the screenshot. We have 93 missed calls, while you were answering just 3 calls. We had 93 missed calls. People want to hear this, brother. You are clearly inspired, brother.
So look, if your phone ringing like that, imagine how my phone ring every day, brother.
I could imagine, brother. I could imagine. Caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name, tell us your city, and what's your question?
My name is Tracy. I'm calling from Detroit, Michigan. And my question for Yah'ki is, how do you properly recover from a subarachnoid hemorrhage, which means that a blood vessel burst in your brain?
So the best way to recover from that, remember, is regeneration. You have to get all the mucus out of the cranium and out of the brain first. So you need to most definitely use my upper circulation. I have something called the circulatory high tincture off my website. That way you can start getting all that oxygen and all that circulation moving. Once you remove all the acidic properties, and once you remove all of the different blood clots that's keeping from that circulation from happening, you will see that the dendrites have a way of sending messages to the veins and vessels inside of your brain to reconnect again. We see that all the time, especially with people that come to us with granny strokes or that had aneurysm. So literally, you just have to get on a regenerative diet, and that's going to consist of fruits, berries, and melons. I understand alkaline is very good, but if you cook your food, it's going to take you a longer time to recover. So just take a time and go on a raw diet of fruits, berries, and melons, just a little solids here and there, and get my my brain and nervous system kit from off my website, and that'll do it. But if you want to use your own herbs, I will give you 2 herbs: the lily of the valley herb. It's the herb leaf, lily of the valley, and blue veravain. These are 2 very, very good herbs that you can use for cellular regeneration of the brain, especially when it comes to brain tissue.
Thank you very much, caller. All right. Family, this has been an amazing bill. We don't have too much time because it's also the Shabbat, but are you willing to take any more questions, brother?
We can do one more question, brother, and then I got some things to do too.
All right, so we have one more caller. All right, waiting on that caller to call back. We taking one more caller. Next call is the last call. Last call, as they say, last call. What I want to say in the interim is that this has been like a really, really powerful dialogue. One that I could say I definitely enjoy. Caller, what's your name? Tell us your city. You're the last caller. Make sure it counts. What's your question?
All right, man. This is the tall thing. I'm in Georgia. I'm from New Jersey, but I'm in Georgia right now. You can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, brother.
All right. My question is, me myself, I'm a neuromuscular therapist. It's like the medical term to a massage therapist. And my teacher, I learned from him and you guys. Y'all talk the same. Pretty much, it's like he's good with nutrition. So I was wondering, do you work with neuromuscular therapists for the physical aspect of people that have maybe muscle problems and musculoskeletal problems? Would you work with those type of people for as long with the nutrition?
Yes, I'm actually very, very, very raised up and built up on the knowledge of the musculatory system, and we do have masseuses at our healing clinic that comes out and do lymphatic draining and deep muscle tissues and things like that. So I'm very familiar with it, and I actually have a few of those on my team. And I'm always open for new people to come in and learn the knowledge and just to grow with us. So yeah, I'm most definitely open to that, and yes, we know all about that.
Shalom.
All right, caller. Thank you very much. So, in closing, brother, I want to say to you, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. I truly enjoyed this bill. You know, I think we're going to clearly have many more bills. I can't wait to visit you at the grand opening in St. Louis, Missouri, to come and check you out, brother. And what I want to say in closing is that with all high honors, please let us know how do we contact with you? How do we find out more about what it is that you provide in terms of your services? We have the email on the screen, but I still want you to be audible. Let the people know how we can contact you and kind of give us a list of the services that you will provide.
You can contact me on Instagram at Yah'ki_awaken. You can actually contact me on Facebook. I have a verified page, which is just Yah'ki Awaken. And you can contact me on my personal page on Facebook as well, which is Yah'ki Hickman. Yah'ki, Hickman, and also on YouTube at Yah'ki Awakened as well. The service we provide is all natural healing on the holistic level, whether it is mentally, physically, or spiritually. I'm not only a healer, I am a priest, and I am a Kohen. I'm a priest first before anything. So on a spiritual level, on a physical level, and on the mental level, any service that you can think of, we provide, whether it be dietitian, whether it be counseling, whether it be coming in and getting healed of any disease. I don't care what the so-called disease or virus is. We can most definitely reverse it and get it out of the body. Only thing I want to say is preventive maintenance, family. That's the thing we need to stick to now. Preventative measures to healing. That we have to, y'all, because a lot of people are coming to us already on their deathbeds, and I'm not complaining. We pull a lot of people from their deathbeds, but it will be way easier for me and my team and much less pain and suffering on your side if you get to us before you get to these chronic stages of disease, y'all.
Powerful, brother. Powerful, brother. Like I said, the anointing is clearly on you. I'm definitely glad that I had the opportunity to meet you in person. Looking forward to seeing you again pretty soon. Have a blessed Shabbat, brother, and continue doing what you're doing. Salute and shalom to you.
Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom lakah, brother.
Shabbat shalom lakah.